Other Switch Heads, Kanan here, and welcome to my review of Super Toy Cars Off-Road, a Micro Machines game that hopes to add an off-road twist to the genre. So why not subscribe to the channel for weekly reviews and sales videos, and hit that like button, it really does help the channel grow. Cars to the starting line, engage! Super Toy Cars Off-Road is one of them games where you get to play a miniature version of, well, a car, truck and other vehicles as well in real-worldy areas. And these areas can also come with real-world obstacles. To say I love Micro Machines is an understatement, and was so excited to see how Off-Road would shape up. Firstly, it really did take me a while to get used to the controls in Off-Road. Floaty and sensitive at the same time really was not a good mix. And then controlling some of the other cars, just wow. It felt like I was playing another game and had to get used to the controls again. In fact, the only reason I could actually see for this is maybe they were meant to be remote control cars, but saying that, they all had drivers in them. Okay, so first off, I'm not trying to win this game. I just want to show you some of the controls. Okay, so, well, that's destruction just there. That's not too bad. But the actual controls of this vehicle are so sensitive. You have to, like, just tap it, tap, tap, tap. And then you got your drift button, which actually, weirdly enough, turns your car better than actual turning, which is really, really weird. But yeah, you got your left, right. I could actually get somewhere so you can see left, right, and then your brake, which I never use. Does anyone ever use them? And then your handbrake turn type thing, which works better than actually turning the car, which is weird. But then you got this vehicle, which is more of an off-road vehicle. Bear in mind, you can't pick that. You can't pick any other vehicle apart from that sort of vehicle on that level that I was just on. This is really difficult whilst actually talking. But yeah, this is a complete contrast of controls via the other one. This is less sensitive. And also bear in mind that I've also upgraded both cars as far as I can within this actual slot. Okay. So yeah, it's a little bit weird in that respect, and I don't know, it kind of like puts you off playing other cars, to be honest with you. As far as modes, you get quick race, useful for practicing, and a career mode. The career mode sets you up with a driver and a vehicle. You can unlock new drivers and costumes and buy and unlock new cars and vehicles. You can also upgrade them all and change the colours. Okay, so if you pop into the actual garage, you can see here that you can select different vehicles. That's the one that I was making the paint job when the actual game crashed. And yep, so as you can see, all these have different specs, better on, you know, different road conditions, faster, slower, blah, blah, blah. And you can buy these for money that you win in game, obviously, once you've won races. And then you can configure them. So all of this is configurable. And then you can change the actual look at them. And yeah, this is actually quite a decent amount of things that you can actually do here, which is pretty cool. And then again, you have your driver that you can select different ones, and you can unlock them just like the cars as you go along, which also is cool. You can also give them different skins and all, or, you know, if you like. Entering a race comes in the form of different cups. And these can come in the form of like Doom Riders, Heavy Hitters, Group B Monsters, and most of these will need you to have more than one different types of car. And then within each of the actual stages within these cups, you also get different races, like Race, which is just a standard race, you use power-ups. Clean Race, basically a race but no power-ups. Death Race, whereas if you're destroyed completely in the actual race, that's it for you. And then Eliminator, Time Trial, Time Attack, Destruction, and even a Drifting Challenge. And as I said, some of these even come with power-ups like bouncy traps, a boost, obvious, missiles, obvious, and even an 8-ball, a giant 8-ball that fires out of your car or vehicle and hopefully tramples on something ahead or behind you. This all works pretty well and it actually feels pretty decent when you actually play it. But that is only while it is actually working correctly. I did actually have some fun with this game, but my actual gameplay was hindered by frame rate dips, and as bad as these were for me, Luke from Star or Shovelware had it worse than me. And you know, the comparison does not stop there. Another thing we both had was multiple crashes. Luke's was more in game when the frame rate dipped badly for him, and most of mine was while changing the colour of one of my cars and in the screens before I started a race. But yes, I also had some in-game, which was annoying. This all really hindered, obviously, the enjoyment you get from the game and your progress. And after a while you just didn't want to actually play on for losing bits and pieces here and there of your progress, especially when you're actually winning races. Snatching these wins away from you and not only having to restart the actual game, but restart the actual parts that you were playing. Graphically, it looks okay with some nice effects. I don't think I saw too many problems, but there was some noticeable frame rate drops here and there. The other problem I had was it wasn't always apparent where to actually go next, although the addition of extra routes was actually pretty cool, although not very clever at times how they were implemented. Okay, don't get me wrong, I liked the different courses you get to go on, and some really did actually have some cool effects. But it really doesn't help itself with the fact that some of the actual tracks are reused with different obstacles on them. Adding to that, the collision effects were kind of weird in a way, and just didn't feel very, well, natural. Audio wise, this was definitely the weakest part of the game, apart from all the crashes and all that lot, of course. There were certain sound effects that, well, to my mind should have actually had sound to them, but they were empty and silent. It was very strange. But other sounds, they were okay, I suppose. The music, on the other hand, that was pretty decent. You know, it was okay. It had some really good tracks that were generic, but still they were uplifting, I suppose. The good. It's a great idea and I did have some fun with it when it worked. There is actually a nice amount of things to actually do. I like the fact that you race different types of races. The bad. Controls and the difference between cars is terrible. Multiple crashes is also terrible. Multiplayer felt and looked a little weird. For some reason it felt kind of hollow. I think in the state that it is at the moment, I would find it really difficult to actually recommend it to anyone. And to my mind, it does actually need quite a bit doing to it. I would think probably a good few patches would fix most of the actual problems, and that would leave me at about 3 out of 5. But I think for the state that it's in actually now, Super Toy Cars Offroad is going to get a 2 out of 5 from me, and I can't really recommend it right now. Well, that was all a bit of a letdown, but keep your eyes out, because if they actually listen to the negatives and the critics, and even the players once they get their hands on it, this could actually be a pretty decent game if they fix it, they patch it, and listen to what we've said. So before we get to that alternative, why not subscribe for weekly reviews and sales videos, and like the video also to help the channel grow. And as for my alternative today, and I don't really care, it's not microcars or anything, but it's one of my childhood loves, and that's Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. It's really the Star Wars bit that I love from my childhood. But saying that, this does actually have a pretty decent 6.8 meta score, so I'm thinking it might actually be worth a try. But as usual, if you have a better choice, or indeed any thoughts on Super Toy Cars Off-Road, leave them down below, or feel free to come join us in the Switchheads community Discord. Because life is better when we switch together.